In this video, Lee will be coding in the functionality in the Enqueue method.
Right. Now, as I said, this is probably going to be the only one that's slightly tricky. And even then, it's not bad. I mean, compared to all the stuff you've gotten to get to, what is this, our 8th R&D session now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the stuff that you've gone through to get here is going to make this look like a cakewalk. So our first thing that we're going to do is check our item that we're passing in and make sure if it's null, we throw an exception. Because there is no reason for you to be adding null items into your queue. So we just don't want that to be allowed. So argument null exception. See if it'll find it for me. There we go. And into this we will be passing item may not be null. Alright, so this should throw an exception if anybody, for any reason, tries to pass on null in. Now, once we've verified that, we want to do one of several possible operations based on our priority. So we're going to do switch based on priority. I always hated the fact that ReSharper killed the auto-populate for this. So queue priority, go ahead and set up the basic for this first. All right, now what we're going to do is going to be a couple of different checks depending on which priority we're at. With low priority, there's nothing that is lower than low priority, so we're not going to be promoting anything to lower priority from a lesser state. So the only thing that we need to do is to make sure that our low list does not contain what we're sending in. Because with a queue, or particularly this queue and this list, I do not want to have duplicate items. I only want one of any item in the queue at any given time. So if it doesn't contain it, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add it. Now this is going to be pretty much standard for all three methods. If it's not contained in it, then we're going to add it to that list. Though we do have to do another check that is for the medium and high checks, and that is the check to see if this particular item does already exist in a lower priority list. So for our medium priority, we need to check the low priority list to see if it contains it. So we're going to say if low.contains item, and apparently I managed to hit my caps lock in there at some point. All right. So if it contains it, we want to remove it. So low.remove. This will make sure that if it's in the low priority list, we remove it before we add it to the medium priority. And this is going to be the same for our high priority. So we're going to check our low priority, but we're also going to have to check the medium priority. So we'll do an additional check for our medium priority list. And build it up. So now if we're low priority, if it's not there, we add it. If it's medium priority, we look to see if it's in the low priority. If it is, we promote it to the medium priority. And then if it's a high priority, we check to see if it's in either the low or medium. If it's in either of them, they get removed and promoted it to the high priority list. So this will give us the functionality that we need to make sure that it's always in the list a single time, and that it will always be at the highest priority that any other method may have pushed into the queue or enqueued this. So that's the functionality that we need for enqueue.
Okay.
Now in the next video we're going to be addressing dequeue, and then we'll actually be able to go in and play with it a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. And with that, that is going to wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.